Reddit stock has been on quite a run lately, but on Monday it did something different. It paused. After weeks of climbing higher and even hitting the mid-240s, RDDT settled at just under $220, closing Monday at $219 and change. It was a modest gain, barely 1%, but what really stood out was how the stock seemed to flatline compared to its recent volatility. So the question is this calm a healthy consolidation for Reddit stock after a blistering run, or is it the early warning sign of something bigger? Let's dig in. First, some context. Over the past month, Reddit has been one of the hottest names on the market. Since reporting blowout second quarter earnings, the stock has climbed by nearly 50%, moving from below $160 to a peak above $240. Those gains were powered by a combination of strong fundamentals, like 78% year-over-year revenue growth, and the buzz surrounding its role in the artificial intelligence ecosystem. The AI angle has been key. Reddit has been positioning itself not just as a social platform, but as a data-rich search destination. Its user-generated content is being licensed to companies like Google and OpenAI for training AI models, and its Reddit Answers feature has gone from 1 million to 6 million weekly users in just one quarter. This narrative, that Reddit is becoming a key player in AI and data monetization, has given the stock a powerful tailwind. But in the last week, that narrative has hit some turbulence. It's not that Reddit itself has stumbled. Its fundamentals are unchanged. Q2 revenue of $500 million, net income of $89 million, and advertising revenue growth of 84% are still intact. User growth is still strong, with daily active users up 21% and international users up 32%. None of that has shifted in just a few days. What has changed is sentiment around AI stocks more broadly. Across the market, we've seen a cooling in AI enthusiasm. The Nasdaq dropped more than 2% over 2 days as investors pulled back from some of the most hyped names in the space. Headlines haven't helped. The CEO of OpenAI himself warning about a possible AI bubble, and a recent MIT study highlighting that 95% of firms experimenting with generative AI have yet to see meaningful returns. That combination has made investors more cautious. And Reddit, with its valuation already stretched at more than 120 times earnings, is particularly sensitive to those kinds of sentiment swings. It's no surprise that when the mood around AI cooled, Reddit stock cooled along with it. There's also a broader market story here. Investors have been repositioning portfolios, moving out of high-growth tech and into more defensive sectors like energy, healthcare, and consumer staples. It's a classic risk-off rotation, and in that environment, even strong performers like Reddit can struggle to attract the same buying pressure. Adding to the uncertainty is the looming Jackson Hole Symposium. Every year, markets pay close attention to what Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell says there, and this year, the stakes are high. Inflation remains a concern, consumer spending has shown signs of slowing, and political pressure on the Fed is building. Evercore has even suggested Powell's remarks could trigger a 7 to 15% correction in markets, depending on how hawkish or dovish he sounds. With that kind of potential volatility on the horizon, it's not surprising that some investors are choosing to sit on the sidelines. So Monday's action in Reddit stock, barely moving, holding around 219, makes sense. It wasn't a rejection of Reddit's story, but a reflection of the broader market mood, cautious, hesitant, and waiting for clarity. Now, does that mean Reddit's run is over? Not necessarily. In fact, there's a strong case to be made that this kind of flatlining is healthy. After such a massive run-up, some consolidation at a new higher level is natural. It allows the stock to digest gains, shake out weak hands, and set up for another leg higher if the fundamentals and sentiment align. There are a few things to watch for in the days ahead. First, support levels. 215 looks like a critical area. If Reddit can hold above that, it reinforces the idea that this is consolidation, not a breakdown. If it slips below 210, though, that could open the door to a deeper pullback. Second, volume. If the stock is trading flat on light volume, that suggests investors are simply waiting things out. If volume spikes during down days, that's a warning sign of bigger selling pressure. Third, catalysts. Any new licensing deals, user growth updates, or analyst upgrades could reignite momentum. On the flip side, if Powell's Jackson Hole speech spooks markets, Reddit could easily be swept into a broader sell-off. It's also worth mentioning that there's been some noise around a class action lawsuit alleging that Reddit misled investors on user growth and revenue projections. So far, this hasn't had much impact on the stock, and lawsuits are unfortunately a pretty standard part of life for public companies. But it's something to keep in mind, especially if sentiment is already fragile. For long-term investors, the big picture hasn't changed. Reddit still has strong fundamentals, growing ad revenue, and a unique position in the AI world. Its archive of human conversations is a valuable asset in a world increasingly driven by AI models hungry for training data. That story doesn't evaporate just because the stock cooled for a few days. For short-term traders, though, the message is different. The AI bubble chatter, sector rotation, and Fed uncertainty all make this a tricky environment. It might be a time for tighter risk management, smaller position sizes, or waiting for clearer signals before making big bets. So where does this leave us? Monday's flatline at around 219 looks more like a pause than a panic. It reflects caution ahead of a major macro event, combined with a recalibration of expectations in the AI space. Whether it turns into the start of a deeper correction or simply a base for another rally will depend on what happens next, not inside Reddit, but in the broader market. As we wait for Powell's words at Jackson Hole and watch how AI sentiment evolves, Reddit stock sits at a crossroads. Is this calm just the eye of the storm, or is it the kind of consolidation that healthy bull markets are built on? That's the question investors are asking today, and the answer will shape where Reddit goes next. So what do you think? Is this pause a buying opportunity, or a warning to step back? Do you see Reddit holding above 215, or breaking down below 210? Drop your price targets and thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear where you stand.